In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up and manage projects in Tally accounts. Firstly, all you need to do on the left hand side of the screen is click into Settings. Once you're in Settings, if you scroll down, under Configuration Settings in the middle of the page, you'll see you have the option here for Projects. Once click into Projects, all you need to do is just click Enable Projects, and when you save those settings, you will now see the Projects module has been turned on the left hand side of the screen. Some other settings we can do for projects, if we click back into project settings, we can rename them. So some people call them projects, they might be called jobs, cost centers, branches, departments, and all you need to do is just rename it, and that will rename it on the left hand side of the screen. So if I click save there, we can now see it's been changed to departments, which means when you click into it, it's called departments, and we can add those in as and when we need to. Okay, so you can change that as and when you need. I'm going to go back in there. I'm going to rename it for the time being. I'm just going to call it projects. We've also got two date fields. You can either leave them blank, or I could come in here and just put start date and end date for the project, so I can identify what those dates mean. We've got the option here to assign a project directly against a customer. So if I was doing a project for a customer, then I can choose them from a drop down list. If I was running a department, let's say in my business, I might not necessarily need that for a specific customer, so I can untick it and take that option away. We can also decide if we want to show a work in progress, which will show that calculation when you go into a specific department. We can also decide whether we want to include that project name on printed and emailed invoices, and then we can assign journals, bank transactions, invoices and purchases directly against projects. Once you've done that, just click Save Settings at the bottom of the screen. To manage projects then, all we need to do is go into the Projects module and then just hit Create a Project. Type in the name of the project that you're going to be doing, and then it will the number will just keep going up. You can renumber it if you want. You can also put a reference in there for future reference, whether it's active, completed or archived. So do you want that to appear in drop down lists, or have you completed it? And you can archive it so it won't appear in those lists. We can then choose our start date and our proposed end date for that project, and we can choose the customer who that's for. We can then type anything we want in here, and that's just notes against the project itself, and we can put in hyperlinks and pictures and images and things like that against a specific project. We can then go and set our income and expenditure target if we wish to. So I'm going to say my income target is £10,000 and my expenditure target is £3,000. Once I've done that, all I do is hit Create Project, and that's now being created in the system. If we go to Customers and we look at their customer record, if we go to Invoices and Stats, you'll be able to see any projects that your clients are linked to. And to start assigning transactions to those projects, all we need to do, I can go into a sales invoice now. I'm going to create a new sales invoice for those guys. So if I just hit Create, just go and choose their customer record from here. If I add line items to this, we can now choose the project that line needs to be assigned to. So I can just say that's labour. And we can also assign to multiple projects on one transaction. So I can come in here and say materials, and I don't have another project, but we can just add one in from the invoice screen. Just by clicking add new project, I can just go set up a new one directly from here. And that's now going to set up project 2 and assign it to that for me. And I can just come in here and add in my materials and hit save, and that's now been assigned to that. We can do the same in journals and the same for the bank. So if we go into the bank and add a new transaction, you'll now see, if I just come in here and I'm just going to type in travel, and I'm just going to put hotel stay in here, I can then assign that to a specific project. So that cost me £100, choose my VAT rate and hit plus. You'll now see in your banking screen, you'll have a column which says projects, so you can clearly see what transactions have been assigned to specific projects from this screen. Now, if we go back into our projects module, if we can now see project 2 has been set up, and if we click into a project record, we can now see I've got £1,200 has been directly assigned, so that's tracked my sales invoice directly against this project. We can run off a list of invoices and a list of purchases, a nominal ledger, a monthly P&L, and an income report. So if I want to know how much profit I'm making on this, I can just hit P&L, and then I can choose the start date and the end date for the report, run my report, and I can now see there's my invoice value, my labour, and we can see less expenses. So we can see the hotel we posted in here, £83.33, and we can see my net profit on there is now tracking at £916. We can print these reports off and we can download them to Excel. So it's a very, very easy way to track departments, projects and cost centres within your business to see how much money, how much revenue you're actually generating from those, and also when the projects module you can clearly see the status of all of those projects that we're running within our business. And that's how easy it is to set up, use and manage projects using Tally accounts.